With every passing day, Israel and Hezbollah are inching closer to war. It is not me who is saying this. Just look at these headlines. Preparing for war since 2006. US intel indicating a war. Iran wants Israel against war, and so on. So why Israel, which is already fighting a war with Hamas, could be dragged into one more war? And what is Hezbollah and why Iran is supporting it? Let's get into it. So this is the map of Middle East, the region preoccupied with war since decades. If we zoom in, this is the Israel-Lebanon border, and the ongoing tensions can be mapped to this area. To know the historical context of the problem, we have to go back to the 1980s. In 1970, a large portion of Palestinians moved into Lebanon because of ongoing conflict in the region. These Palestinians were mostly of Sunni Muslim demographic, and this became a problem. Why? Because Shia Muslims, who were more in numbers than the Sunni Muslim, felt threatened because of the demographic change. And these internal tensions brought civil war to Lebanon. In the year 1975, civil war broke in Lebanon. And out of this civil war, a Shia militant group emerged, and its name was Hezbollah. So the next question would be, why Israel and Hezbollah became enemies? Remember, I told you the Palestinian presence in Lebanon. These Palestinians were not 100% ordinary civilians. Most of them were part of a militant organization called PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization. And these guys were hitting Israel on the southern Lebanon border. So the Israeli formed a plan and decided to take out these guerrilla fighters. Israel's goal was to drive PLO out of Lebanon, and thus Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982. And in no time they were able to evict the PLO from Lebanon. In the map, we can see the red arrows. These arrows represents the movement of Israeli forces to capture the capital city of Lebanon, which is Beirut. In just few months, Israel was able to capture Beirut and evict the PLO from Lebanon. The war started in June 1982, and by September 1982, PLO pulled out all its troops from Lebanon. And in May 1983, peace accord was signed between Israel and Lebanon. To cut the long story short, a security zone was created in southern Lebanon, where both Israeli and Lebanese army created a buffer zone. Look at the red shaded region. This was the security zone along the Israel and Lebanese border. But this security zone was a no-no to Hezbollah. They decided they will drive the Israeli forces out of the southern Lebanon border. So in 1982, Hezbollah was formed and the rivalry started between Israel and Hezbollah. So now the question is, how it became so strong that it is challenging Israel? Before we proceed further, it would be great if you can like and subscribe. Let's get back to the topic. Hezbollah started consolidating power throughout the civil war. And as this was a Shia group, Iran started supporting it with money and weapons because Iran is a Shia majority country. The civil war in Lebanon ended in 1990 by Saudi Arabia and Syrian mediation. All the internal groups which were fighting the civil war were forced to put their arms down, except Hezbollah, and this was a major victory for the militant group. In 1992, Hezbollah also contested in election and won 8 seats out of the total 128 seats in the assembly election. So this was the political beginning of Hezbollah. But its terrorist operations were not stopping. Between 1983 to 1997, it carried out several terrorist attacks against USA and Israel. And finally in 1997, the United States designated Hezbollah as a terrorist organization. So even after it was contesting election and could have gone legitimate, it chose not to and continued operations against Israel and the US. So this was a historical overview of Hezbollah. But what are its military capabilities today? According to reports, Hezbollah has multiple weapon systems, from missiles to mortars and from anti-tank missiles to anti-aircraft missiles. It is loaded with weapons. It is estimated that it has more than 100,000 missiles and rockets, and the range of these rockets can vary from 40 to 700 kilometers. In this report by CSIS, we can see the diverse range of rockets in Hezbollah arsenal, and this Katyusha rocket had earlier caused a lot of problems for Israel. As I pointed out earlier about the safe zone, this safe zone lasted till 2000s, and during this whole time, Hezbollah used to fire these Katyusha rockets in northern Israeli territory, and Israel had to make a lot of bunkers in its northern area to protect its civilians. These Russian-made rockets are still present in fair amount within the Hezbollah arsenal, and if Hezbollah start firing these missiles in large numbers, then it can overwhelm the Israeli Iron Dome system, the renowned system which has protected countless Israeli lives so far. And United States has warned Israel of this threat. So if all-out war happens between Israel and Hezbollah, then Israel might suffer big time, because Hezbollah is not Hamas. It has far better quality of weapons and it has more men. And Iran has strongly warned Israel that if war happens, then it could go too far. So the situation is quite serious. United States, India, and total of 12 countries have warned their citizens not to travel to Lebanon. Although US and allies have also warned Hezbollah and will stand strongly behind Israel. And if this war happens, then the whole region will destabilize very quickly, because stakes are higher this time. With that, this is the end of this video. This is Raj signing off. Please like and subscribe.